We're going to be using the Pythagorean identities today. So remember the ones that we know, sine squared plus cosine squared equals 1. Remember, you can subtract cosine or subtract sine and get different variations of this. So this one would be, we could make sine squared equal 1 minus cosine squared. And then we could take that original one, if you divide it by cosine, you get tangent plus 1 equals secant squared. And then we can rearrange that. So if I subtract 1 here, say, I could get what tangent is equal to. So there's a whole bunch of them that you can do. And the third major big one is if you divide this one again by sine, you get 1 plus cotangent squared equals cosecant squared. Okay, that was all in the video yesterday, so if you don't understand that, I don't know, give that a rewatch. But these are the major ones, and then we can subtract and move things around. So when you're looking here, this front page is literally just, what can do I have my identities memorized? Okay, so try a couple of these out, and we'll come back. All right, so hopefully you got that sine squared plus cosine squared is 1. And then sine squared could be, and this is the first few are just rearranging the first major one. So it would be 1 minus cosine squared, which is like the very first one I just did a second ago. Okay, number 3, 1 minus cosine squared would be just plain old sine squared. Negative sine. Okay, so just try these out, see if hopefully you get the idea. Let's look at a couple over here. So if secant squared minus 1, that would be using the one with secant and tangent, so that one there would be tangent squared. So try and finish those up on your own like that. So the rest of these, the ones on the back, things that make you go the ones on the back use all of our identities that we know so far, and they're really just straightforward and simple. Tonight you're going to be starting a bit more complex ones, and I'm going to give you some good strategies. But these are just to, get your mind moving. So 1 over cosecant would be just plain old sine. So remember, it's just using them. So cosine over sine would be cotangent. Like, do you know your identities by heart? Which is what you should know already. You should know that 1 over cosecant is sine, and vice versa. You should also know that when you square them, they are the same thing. So if sine over cosine is tangent, then sine squared over cosine squared would be tangent squared. And then here, cosecant. So they're pretty straightforward. You do a few more of these. I'm not going to do all of them for you, of course. But like something like this, if you look over here, if I skip over to number 9, getting a little more complex in these, 1 minus 1 over cosecant squared would be 1 minus sine squared. And we know 1 minus sine squared is cosine squared. So I simplified this math to be that. So that's what our basic goal is with identities, is to just simplify it and make it look a bit nicer for the most part. All right, so finish these up. We'll go over them tomorrow if you need to, and have a nice day. That's my heart for Valentine's Day.